UFC Singapore. This is the weigh-in recap show, full card predictions, and the betting breakdown. Looking forward to talking about this card one last time after seeing the fighters on the scales. So make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn the post notifications on and make sure to share the video as well. And also note, I'll be live for the UFC Singapore card at 5 a.m. Eastern time on Saturday. Make sure you guys tune in to that very early fight companion. I'm looking forward to this card. We got some great fights. And let's start it off with the first fight of the night. We have Choi versus Jarno Errens. Now, I've been picking the side of Choi throughout the entire week. When we pull up the ceremonial face-offs and you see the confidence of Errens, you guys might slightly feel as though there's a potential shift in the momentum. I'll pull it up right now. We'll look at these guys on the scales right away. And Jarno Errens, to me, seemed like confident as hell. Like he was gleaming with confidence, pulling up to the scale, looked shredded. Now, one issue with this card is there was zero official weigh-in streams that existed across the whole internet. I dug for it, did not find any. We got the ceremonials, so obviously we're just going off ceremonials. I'm irritated at that, so hopefully this never happens again because I've never seen it happen before, but at least we got ceremonials to see these guys rehydrated and feel the momentum and confidence on one side or the other. There is Choi looking, okay on the scale, lean. He's a slim guy. Definitely Errens, the larger guy of the two. When they faced off, this is a little bit zoomed in, but when you watch that ceremonial weigh-in, you can see Errens a little bit taller, definitely has some more muscle mass. I've been picking Choi to win by decision in an essential coin flip matchup here. I'm feeling like Jarno Errens is super live. Now, I don't want to go out on a whim and pick flip it. I don't like doing the pick flips these days because I've gotten myself into some big trouble doing such a thing. But if you're watching and you're looking for the betting side, I think it's a dog or pass fight. When we pull up the odds, which we're going to do right now, you guys are going to see that Jarno Errens is a plus 124 underdog to Choi at minus 144. You look at open, it was minus 235 for Choi. So obviously a lot of people have been betting that Jarno Errens underdog side, and that line has dropped a bit as he was a bigger underdog earlier on in the week. I am picking Choi by a decision. I think he's going to be a bit too experienced at the UFC level and potentially outpoint a Jarno Errens. But I'd be remiss to say that Errens has no shot. He has good straight punches. He is a kickboxer, right? He likes his stand-up game. He's well-rounded overall, but he shines in the striking. As far as Choi, obviously, Muay Thai kickboxing striking style, but has a tendency to leave openings. There's moments where he is extremely hittable, especially after he throws his lead hook. He kind of leaves it out there a little bit, and I think there could be potential counters by Errens. But then when you look at Choi's good moments, he's dropped an Caceres, back and forth in moments with Josh Kulabea, who's a very dangerous guy. I am still going Choi on the cards, but I really feel as though no betting situation if you're on the favorite, or a dog or pass if you like the underdog. Who won the face-offs? Who won the weigh-ins? It was Jarno Errens. He seems to be intense, dialed in, focused, and in the best shape of his career. So he's definitely a live underdog. So if you're looking for an underdog spot to start the night off, I don't think Jarno Errens is a bad idea. I'm feeling like he's got a lot of potential. Errens by KO plus 575. The moments of hitability for Choi on the feet, definitely Errens by a counter shot knockout possible. I gotta still go Choi by decision as the official prediction. I don't like going against my notes after seeing him on the scales, but I've been saying it's essentially coin flip worthy as far as this matchup. I got a guy from Holland who obviously they're great strikers over there versus Choi, who's known for his kickboxing game, but could be a little bit chinny. Betting side, dog or pass. Pick side, we'll go Choi on a hard-fought and competitive decision. He's going to have to dig really deep in this matchup because Jarno Errens is hungry on the come-up, looking for his first UFC win. And obviously, Choi, 3 down in a row. Losing 3 straight, not a great look. Choi's in a rough spot where he's really got to dig deep against Jarno Errens coming in here looking for a shot, looking for a chance, looking to break into the UFC. The more I talk about it, the more I see Jarno Errens beating him. Yeah, this right here is a true coin flip fight, guys. But dog or pass betting situation. If you're throwing down on this one, I think you're probably throwing down on the Errens side. Regardless of a loss recently, he was close with William Gomis, and he's got more momentum than, Choi, who's on a 3-fight losing streak here. Let's get to the next fight. It is Liang versus JJ Aldrich. I've been picking JJ Aldrich all week, but the odds for this fight are crazy. There is no reason that JJ Aldrich should be a minus 550 favorite against any female inside of the UFC. Regardless of Liang's losses, at the end of the day, she is an absolute pit bull. The girl comes to fight. She throws caution to the wind. She has a bit of sting in her hands. Now, she's reckless. She's hittable. And fighters with good counter-striking abilities and a bit of power, I think, will give her fritz on the feet. She got knocked out by Silvana Gomez-Juarez in the first round in her last fight. Granted, she comes up in weight here. Punch resistance could be a bit better. Grappling strength could be a bit better. If you have JJ Aldrich as your key parlay piece, if you're on the betting side of this one, I think that you're taking a huge risk because the odds suck for a girl who's a decisionator against someone else who comes out with absolute fire from the start. Aldrich is still the pick. Regardless of the scales, there is not a pick flip, but I will mention that JJ Aldrich is an inflated line for a girl that I don't think deserves that type of tag. She looks okay on the scale. I'm not impressed. Liang, coming up in weight, looks pretty filled out. She's intimidating. This is a crazy line to me. The odds make 0 sense here. The odds make 0 sense here. I really feel as though JJ Aldrich beats her on the judges' scorecards as the technically more well-rounded fighter. But I have this weird feeling that when lines are this crazy, this is where Liang's going to end up shining, and she might catch JJ Aldrich with a big punch and knock her out. Don't throw everything on JJ Aldrich. I'm picking her to win by a decision. On paper, she's the better fighter. As far as the face-offs go, I'd say it was pretty competitive. Both girls, look okay on the scale. But look at these odds. They're stupid. Minus 555 for JJ Aldrich. Liang plus 405. That makes 0 sense. That makes 0 sense for me. She should be a 2-1, at max 3-1. Not 550. No way. Should not be 550. Aldrich is the decision queen. Her to win a decision is plus 190. I don't like that bet at all. Liang by knockout is plus 1400. The way she fights crazy, there's a chance she gets that KO. I mean, it would be a pure degenerate bet sprinkle, but a little, $10 bet could make you $140 on that one. $5 could make you a ton, could make you like 65 if my math is not way off, or 70 rather. I think that Aldrich probably dictates the pace of the fight with the kickboxing, avoids the craziness of Liang, finds takedowns, and wins a decision per usual. But yeah, the betting side here is crazy wide towards JJ Aldrich, and it should not be that wide. No way, it should not be that wide. Aldrich for the win, but terrible lines here. Next fight on the card, it's Yusaku Kinoshita versus Billy Goff. I got to ride the side of Kinoshita. I have been all week. I think he's going to knock Billy Goff out. I think he's going to look impressive. And when we saw them face off, I like the intensity by Kinoshita, but I also like that he's a bit taller and he's known for his striking here. As long as he stays off of his back, I think he's golden in this matchup. He has a loss to Adam Fugit, but Fugit has freakishly long arms and had the size advantage over Kinoshita. Goff, the smaller of the two, I think he's going to get hurt with big shots on the feet. I think Kinoshita's putting his lights out. Goff has been dropped before in fights, and he's been hurt badly. His toughness, obviously, a pretty high capability for him because the dude recovers well. But I think he's getting put to bed by Kinoshita here. There is Kinoshita. There is Billy Goff. Goff looks like a badass with the earrings. Doesn't he look like a fucking 90s Power Ranger? Holy shit. If you watch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in the 90s, he looks like that. That's the look. I feel like he's got the suit in the back or something like that. He should walk out to it. That's hilarious. He looks very 90s. There's the face-off between Goff and Kinoshita. Goff looks like a badass, though. but I think Kinoshita's a menace on the feet. I think Kinoshita is going to find the kill shot. Goff gets a little bit too reckless with his striking for my liking, and regardless of how tough he is, Kinoshita can finish fights, and I think he's going to finish off Billy Goff. So give me Yusaku Kinoshita to win this thing, and I'm going to call it knockout for Kinoshita. Minus 140 for Kinoshita, close line in a competitive fight, but one he should win. Plus 120 for Billy Goff. Let's see here. Kinoshita to win the fight, knockout, plus 185. Kinoshita plus 185. I just don't want to risk too much on it. Like, I'd sprinkle it, a light play on Kinoshita by knockout, because that's how he wins fights. Billy Goff getting wild, but with good recovery. I don't think Billy Goff's going to have the physical strength to bully a Kinoshita on the ground. So I'm going to predict that Kinoshita does his thing comfortably on the feet and finds the Goff chin and puts his lights out. We're going Yusaku Kinoshita by knockout. And I think it's going to be a pretty wild fight because Billy Goff will throw caution to the wind and brawl. So this could be a potential fight of the night, actually. But we're going Kinoshita. Next fight, it's Rolando Bedoya versus Kenan Song. I've been picking the side of Rolando Bedoya all week. I think he's in a style on Kenan Song here. I think he's a really good prospect at 26. His loss to Chaos Williams was a fight that could have gone either way. He had very successful moments in that fight. And honestly, for me, I see him as somebody that could work his way up into that top 15. Young guy with a dangerous kickboxing skill set with high volume, regardless of his physique, which we'll pull up in a second. He's got a gas tank and a half on him. I like Bedoya to overwhelm Song, and I think he's going to end up TKOing him. Now, the physique of Rolando Bedoya for 26 years of age is, kind of marshmallow-like. He's built similar to Chris Dawkins, to be 100% honest with you guys, who was at heavyweight. He's got the wide hips, not a lot of muscle mass. But at the end of the day, there's Hispanic savages in boxing and MMA that don't have great physiques, but can put a pace on you, hit hard, and have great gas tanks. So don't be confused by the physique. You see the six pack, right? The shreds for Kenan Song. He's outmatched here. He's the older guy too. And I think the youth plays a big factor in this matchup because the speed edge should be Bedoya, the gas tank Bedoya. I've been picking knockout, but don't go throwing your house at the knockout prop because Bedoya could definitely win this thing on the judges' scorecards too. Kenan Song has gone distances fights. Obviously, he has a recent knockout loss to Ian Gary. Before that, a recent knockout loss to Max Payne Griffin. But he's gone distance before. He's not necessarily chinny, but I will predict he gets stopped here. Minus 310 for Bedoya, wide favorite, but should win the fight. Plus 260 for Kenan Song. Looking at Bedoya to win this thing by knockout is plus 200, whereas decision is also plus 200. I'm not feeling the props. Bedoya, to me, is a money line parlay piece. That's where I look at this line in the minus 310 range as. If you want to go hard on the money line, you believe in the prospect, obviously do as you wish, but I think he's somebody you can add to a potential parlay. He should beat a Kenan Song, probably stops him, but it wouldn't be crazy if this thing goes all three with Bedoya winning the hard-fought decision. You can see about 7-year age advantage for Bedoya. That adds to the confidence. The younger guy, I think, gets it done here over an OG like Kenan Song. So give me Bedoya for the win. I think he's going to pull it off. He barely lost to Chaos Williams, who's a monster puncher, and I think he can do well against Kenan Song here. Next fight on the card, Chidi and Njokuani versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. I've been picking Mikhail Oleksiejczuk to win, and when we pull up the scales, you guys are probably going to say, dude, Oleksiejczuk's a former light heavyweight. Why does he look like he should be fighting at 170? He's taking on someone with a clear physicality advantage over him, but just note that that's kind of what Oleksiejczuk is used to. He's a southpaw with quite good kickboxing skills. Specifically, his hands are very clean, and he does have a well-rounded MMA game. His recent loss to Caio Baraiho, at the end of the day, who's an absolute monster grappler, that's just a horrible matchup for him. I still think he can do good work at 185 pounds, but they just gave him one of the scariest grapplers in the division. And if you dig into his career, I mean, the guy's notoriously decent, right? He's fought at 205 for a long time, now at 85. I think his power carries over very well in a striker versus striker type fight. I think he shines. There's Oleksiejczuk. There is Chidi Njokuani. And you can see the face-off, right? It's just not a ton of muscle mass on Oleksiejczuk, but that does allow him to be fairly quick with the punches. Chidi's a lot longer. I think Oleksiejczuk, being the younger guy, closes the gap on him, rips him with good punches, competitive in the grappling department. I think it's a close fight that goes long, and Oleksiejczuk's hands getting raised at the end. I think he can land the power strikes. I like Oleksiejczuk's hands a lot. I think he's the better boxer, and for that reason, I like the pick a lot here. I've always felt Oleksiejczuk's pretty good, and he's done well against tall guys before. He lost to Dustin Jacoby at 205, but Jacoby's a top 15 guy at 205, and it's not like Oleksiejczuk was blown out of the water in that fight. I think he can beat a Chidi Njokuani, and at the end of the day, people that watch the channel know I'm a fan of Chidi Njokuani. I got to pick against my guy here. I think Oleksiejczuk's got the style to give him fritz on the feet. So minus 116 for Oleksiejczuk to Njokuani at minus 104. Close money line, pretty even fight. I like Oleksiejczuk to win it. Now, it's crazy. The over is at plus 195. I think there's a real chance they go all three here. Not really durability issues on either side. Oleksiejczuk by decision, plus 425. I'd be impressed as hell if he knocked out Chidi Njokuani. The knockout is plus 190. Decision to me just makes a lot more sense for Oleksiejczuk. So my official call here is going to be Oleksiejczuk to win this on the judges' scorecards. I think he gets it on the scorecard. I think he wins probably 2 out of the 3 rounds. He's going to be at a disadvantage of reach, but he's used to being at a disadvantage of reach, previously fighting at light heavyweight. He's taking on a fellow striker, but a well-rounded guy in Chidi Njokuani, but a guy that he beats. I like Oleksiejczuk to win. Don't sleep on him because of his less than menacing frame. Next fight on the card. This is a really interesting one. It's Toshiomi Kazama versus Garrett Armfield. I've been picking Garrett Armfield all week, and the face-offs delivered. Holy shit, these guys got intense. Actually, Kazama kind of headbutted Armfield during the face-off. He didn't want to shake his hands. Armfield screaming at him. It was a badass face-off, which I think is going to create for a pretty badass fight. Earlier in the week, I was kind of feeling like we might see this thing go long with some grappling pressure. I don't know. I'm feeling like this might look more like a street fight. I think these guys might bring fire from the moment this fight begins, both looking for finishes, both looking to stay on the UFC roster, because it's quite possible that the loser of this fight loses their job, right? Kazama is a finalist on road to the UFC, but he was horribly knocked out against Nakamura, and then Garrett Armfield took the fight against David Onama in his debut on very short notice, comes in, loses that fight. Obviously, it was a rematch with Onama, up a weight class 2 at 145. I think Armfield's the better wrestler and the better striker. Better jiu-jitsu is Kazama. But with the physicality and strength that Armfield has, I think he avoids submission attempts from Kazama if they're on the floor. I think you're going to see a lot of damaging strikes on the feet. And when you have two guys that are capable on the ground, there's a high possibility it turns into kickboxing. That Kazama chin, I have a big question mark around because he has been knocked out before. He's been hurt badly and got his lights put off. Sure, Nakamura is an absolute tank of a puncher, and Armfield doesn't have that power, but Armfield has knockout wins. He's dangerous with his knees. He can bring pressure and overwhelm somebody like Kazama against the cage with shots. I'm thinking Armfield by TKO is starting to make more sense after the weigh-ins here. I'm still riding with Armfield as the official pick to win this thing and what should be a pretty good fight. There's Armfield looking good on the scale. There's Kazama also looking very good on the scale. And see the face-off. You see the scream there. They don't have the headbutt screenshotted. We don't have a headbutt. But we got a yell and a scream, and we got intensity between these two. And I think that the fight is going to deliver. I think we got a violent bantamweight fight here. I think this is like the sleeper fight of the night. All week, nobody's really thinking that this fight's going to end up being an absolute banger. And then on fight night, it's going to end up delivering. Or I should say fight morning, it's going to end up delivering. So give me Garrett Armfield. I'm going to say he gets a second or third round TKO in kind of a back and forth slobber knocker type fight with Kazama. As far as the odds, Armfield at -153, Kazama at +133. I like the chances for Armfield to win. I'm going Armfield TKO, but I'm not recommending the bet inside of it. If you wanted to go money line, it would be straight Armfield. Maybe you're adding them into a parlay to get a little extra juice to it. Under's -155. Earlier in the week, I was thinking decision, but something's whispering to me knockout. Armfield by KO is +250. You know, Armfield by KO at +250 to me, not really worth throwing. I don't know. I think he could pull off a KO, but then it goes distance and you're kicking yourself. If you're touching the lines, Armfield money line. I think he's the better physical specimen. I think Kazama does have creative jiu-jitsu for sure, but I think he's going to have a less than striking game, and I think he has a less than wrestling game. So give me Armfield for the win in this fight, and I think we're going to have action. I think these bantamweights bring a firefight. Maybe the fight of the night. This is a sleeper fight of the night for sure. Let's keep running up. Next fight on the card is our featured prelim of the night. It's Waldo Cortes-Acosta versus Łukasz Brzeski. I've been picking Waldo. Where's Waldo? We found him. I'm on Waldo. You guys know I'm a believer in Waldo's game. Yes, he lost to Rogerio de Lima last time, but that's a step up in competition from Brzeski. And when I look at the boxing skill set of Waldo, I think he's going to find so many punches on Brzeski on the feet. He's clearly faster. Brzeski, a plotting style heavyweight. What Brzeski doesn't bring that I think is something that, I don't want to say it's a mandatory to beat Waldo, but it definitely aids in your potential to beat him, is a grappling base. Somebody that's going to look to wrestle. Somebody that's going to look to get on top of him. If you're sitting in and choosing to strike with Waldo, he is going to be faster than 85-90% of these heavyweights, especially a Łukasz Brzeski. I think Waldo's live for a knockout. I think he's getting his first UFC KO here. Brzeski was KO'd outside of the UFC before. He's been chinned, and I have Waldo, who hasn't put together the knockout in the UFC, but he has KOs outside of the octagon. He was Mr. Knockout. Obviously, his 2 UFC wins and decisions, and he went distance with Rogerio de Lima. There's not questions about the Cortes-Acosta. There's not questions about his durability at all. I have none about his durability. It's just, can he put the hammer on Łukasz Brzeski? I'm going to say he puts the hammer on him. I'm going Waldo by KO. There is Łukasz Brzeski. There is Waldo. It seems like Waldo's added a bit of muscle mass to his frame. He weighed in the 260s. He looks jacked here, actually. Lean and jacked. Obviously not jacked like a Brock Lesnar, not like a Francis Ngannou type jacked, but I see strong muscle mass, which I think aids to his punching power and helps with grappling resistance a ton. I'm going Waldo by a KO. And don't be deceived here by this picture. This picture is going to deceive a lot of people. Oh, wow, Brzeski's way taller. Brzeski might have half an inch or an inch on him. They kind of got Waldo closer in frame and slightly leaning down. When you watch the video of the face-off, it's like this much of a height difference. It's not substantial. I think that Waldo Cortes-Acosta's speed difference, big factor, better boxer, huge factor, especially at heavyweight. I'm going Waldo by KO. He snipes the chin of Łukasz Brzeski, and he gets his first finish inside of the UFC. Waldo is -219 is the favorite, and I've been riding with him. Lock of the week all week. Close money lock, playable. Not actually that close, but closer than a -400, -700 like a Holloway. Brzeski +189. I like Where's Waldo, man. Where's Waldo? We fucking found him, baby. And I think he's getting a win. Under is +120. Interesting. What's Waldo by straight knockout? +200? I don't love Waldo by knockout at +200. Because for a guy that hasn't yet got the UFC knockout win, and then Brzeski, who hasn't been finished in the UFC, I'd love to see that line a little bit higher. But something's telling me this is the fight that he gets a KO. I think second or third round knockout, more of a volume accumulation. But he could do it in the first 2, though. He could counter Brzeski coming in, who's a little bit upright and stiff with his stand-up. Brzeski brings good pressure, and he swings hard, but he's not nearly as fast. I'm loving win for Waldo Cortes-Acosta. he's getting it done. He weighed in 264, Brzeski 235. Let's look at Waldo's recent weights because I want to see if I'm delusional or if he gained some poundage. He weighed in heavyweight 259. Yeah, he's put on a little weight. Last time he was 258. Now he's every bit of 264, and I don't think he's gotten fatter. I think he's put on some muscle tissue. So I got a little bit more muscle mass on Waldo. I like that a lot at heavyweight. I like his size, man, and I think he's getting a KO. He should have more power. I'm going Brzeski getting slept. Let's go Waldo Cortes-Acosta, knockout win, and he puts Brzeski to bed in this fight. Let's jump to the main card. If you guys haven't yet and you're enjoying the content, make sure you smash that like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. It's Junior Tafa versus Parker Porter. I'm going Junior Tafa to win by knockout. Obviously, some people feel as though this is a potential trap, right? Because Tafa is super questionable off of his back. That's a fact because off of his back, he's limited as fuck. He's a kickboxer, a professional kickboxer that's now transitioned to MMA. Parker Porter, though, is not this great wrestler. He's not a super strong physical specimen. His stand-up game is iffy. He's hittable as fuck on the feet. Junior Tafa's brother, Justin, knocked out Parker Porter early in the first round, and I think it runs in the family to sleep Parker Porter on the feet. Tafa's not as easy to take down as people are now going to be thinking. He was getting pressured by Muhammad Usman a lot in their fight, but he hurt Muhammad Usman bad in that fight too. And yeah, he was put on his back and had nothing to offer off of his back. Here against Parker Porter, you're dealing with a guy who's not as physically strong as Muhammad Usman, not as athletic, and doesn't have as much punching power, not as large either. I think Junior Tafa is getting his KO win. I think we're going to start seeing some Tafa hype on the train here. So Junior Tafa to win this thing, I'm calling it. Knockout win in the first round. I think he follows in his brother's footsteps, and I think he KOs the side of Parker Porter. There is Parker Porter looking huge. There's Junior Tafa looking a bit chubbier than normal. He's 255, but I kind of like that at heavyweight. His brother's chubby. It runs in the genes. You know what I'm saying? Have a little fat on you, a little bit more strength. I think that this is going to be a showcase for Tafa. I think now the striking hype is delivered on. I know with Usman it didn't happen, but I think it's happening here. I like the intensity. I like the look. I like the frame. I like everything about Junior Tafa to win. Obviously, the one question mark is on if he gets put on his back, but Parker Porter's not a great finisher from top, and I think Junior Tafa on the feet is live for a knockout throughout the whole fight. Over 1.5 is even at -115. Interesting. Tafa by KO is -130, just money line it. But Tafa by first round knockout +160. I like the plus money. I think he's getting a first round knockout. I like Tafa to win by KO. -140 is not horrible here. I want to pull up the weights too of Tafa. Last time out, how much did Tafa weigh against Usman? He was 252. All right, so he's about the same weight. Parker Porter last time out, he's looking a little chubbier. Didn't he lose some weight? Or am I delusional here? Against Justin Tafa, he was 264. He had lost weight. He was 249 there against Braxton Smith last time. Now he's at 256. So 7 pounds heavier is not awful. But I don't know. Maybe Parker Porter, he's not watching the diet as much. I like Parker Porter walking around at 245 to fight. I think he's a little more capable. Here on the feet, the speed disadvantage will be evident. The power and precision of Tafa gets himself a first-round knockout. Should be a pretty clean KO win for the Tafa train. Next fight, it's Erin Blanchfield versus Taila Santos. I've been riding with my girl Erin Blanchfield all week. Add the OV to the end of her name because she's one of the scariest grapplers in women's MMA. She's an absolute bully when she gets to top position. She's coming off of a finish last time out. She put it on, Jessica Andrade. And a lot of people say, man, Andrade's lost 3 in a row. She sucks now. True. She's lost 3 in a row. I'm not saying she sucks now. But note that Erin Blanchfield was the first one to set her on this losing streak. She's the one that did it to her. Blanchfield on the ground is a menace. Taila Santos, 19-2, great record, and 2 split decision losses, could be 21-0. You have 2 of the best contenders on the come up right now at 125 pounds. I know Erin Blanchfield is young at 24, but I think she's got the goods. And a lot of people spoke upon the size. Oh, Taila Santos is going to be so much bigger. She's going to be so much larger than her. There's Taila Santos. Looks good on the scale. There's Erin Blanchfield. Looks good as well. There's a side shot. And there's the face-off. Blanchfield looks thicker. She's the more large girl this way. She got more width to her. I think that Erin Blanchfield is going to be able to control Taila Santos in the grappling spots and win this fight. A hard 3 rounds, the biggest fight of her life. She comes through and shines and calls her a shot. She's getting the next title shot with a win over Taila Santos. This is the number 1 contender fight. And I think that Erin Blanchfield gets it done here. Unanimous decision. I'm seeing 30-27. I think the wrestling's going to be on point. The top game is going to be off the charts. And Erin Blanchfield for the W. Minus 145 for Erin Blanchfield. Taila Santos at plus 125. I'm going Blanchfield the favorite. Blanchfield by decision. Official call. Plus 150. It'd be sick if she finished Taila Santos. But I respect the grappling resistance and the stand-up, the overall game of Taila Santos. She's a very good fighter. But I think Erin Blanchfield is going to give her that L. The real L. Her first unanimous decision loss. No question marks about it. Erin Blanchfield wins the fight, unanimous decision. She pulls it off over Taila Santos. Let's keep running up the card. Next fight, we got Rinya Nakamura versus Fernie Garcia. I've been picking the side of Rinya Nakamura by knockout all week, and like everybody's been calling that because you see Rinya Nakamura is a huge favorite. It's because he's going to chin Fernie Garcia in the first round. I mean, if it goes longer, I guess it's possible to go longer because of Fernie's toughness, but Rinya's better in the wrestling and in the striking. He's so much more athletic. I've been saying all week he looks like a super villain. We'll pull him up in a sec. There's Fernie. He's in shape, but he didn't look confident at the face-offs. I didn't like his body language. Rinya, he looked like a super villain all week. Maybe he will inside the cage. He's looking like a fucking superhero with the yellow hair. There's the face-off between these two. Close look with the frames. Both guys in very good shape. I just think Nakamura is going to be way more explosive. He's the road to the UFC champion. He's got menacing power. He's an absolute killer. And I think that he's a star-studded prospect. So give me Nakamura to get a knockout. Minus 900 I'm seeing now for Nakamura. It's wide. Fernie's plus 600 as the underdog. That's a crazy tag. Nakamura to win by KO. Minus 135. I mean, it's better than Nakamura to win money line. Nakamura by sub plus 275. I think he's going to end up chinning Fernie Garcia. But note that Rinya Nakamura has a decision win. He's got 5 knockouts, 1 sub, 1 decision. So he has proven that he can go long and win. And he's taken on some good opposition already. Fernie Garcia 0-2 in the UFC. I think he's fallen to 0-3 here. It's Rinya Nakamura for the win. I think he's getting a knockout. I'm going Nakamura. Obviously a high confidence call, and the betting lines reflect that 100%. It's not just me thinking that. It's pretty much everybody thinking that. Featured bout of the night, Giga Chikadze versus Alex Caceres. I guess I'm against the grain here. I think Alex Caceres wins. I think Alex Caceres gets the back of Giga Chikadze and subs him. Since this fight was announced, I've had that feeling. Giga Chikadze is an excellent kickboxer with some of the most scary kicks in mixed martial arts. Alex Caceres has a frame that I think gives him problems, right? We have a split decision with Jamal Emmers for Giga Chikadze a while back. Yes, it's long ago, but that's a frame similar to Alex Caceres. And I think Caceres' grappling skill set is going to give Giga Chikadze fits. I see Caceres where he finds success in this fight in close. Against the cage, in the clinch. If he's stuck at kickboxing range all night, sure, yes, Giga Chikadze can knock him out in a kickboxing match. But that's not what I'm seeing. I think Caceres is going to close the gap with confidence. Being southpaw, being long, he's able to come inside on Giga Chikadze, threaten with takedowns, wear on him against the cage, and does get his back and submits him. There's Bruce Leroy, Alex Caceres. There is Giga Chikadze. Chikadze's been out for a bit too, dealing with some injuries. And then there's a face-off. Caceres smiling at him. Yeah, I see Giga Chikadze submitted here. I think his back is taken and the rear naked choke, the rear naked strangle, I should say, is put into effect. I'm going Bruce Leroy, Mr. Afro. Shout out to Alex Caceres, the OG. And actually, I got to give Caceres mad love because he was the first interview I ever did on this channel when I had like 40 subscribers. So I'm past 20K now. Caceres is strangling Giga Chikadze tomorrow morning. Let's go Alex Caceres by sub. I think he closes the gap on Giga. He's competitive enough in the striking to set up takedowns and grappling attempts, and he wins. Upset. Plus 205 Caceres, minus 240 for Giga. Damn, son. That's a big underdog. Alex Caceres is an OG. He's a vet. Caceres by submission, official call, is sitting at plus 600. I do think Alex Caceres is quite live by sub, so plus 600 would be a good sprinkle prop. The best bet, obviously, your money line side. Some people love Giga Chikadze by KO, and I understand that. Giga to win by KO is plus 275. If this fight is caught up on the feet, sure, it's live for a Giga Chikadze knockout. But note that Alex Caceres is notoriously durable. He hasn't been knocked out in a very long time. He only has one KO loss. Yeah, he was dropped bad by Seung Choi. That's fair, but he did come back to win that fight. Granted, there was an illegal knee, so who knows how that fight would have went if he didn't get hit with an illegal knee. I like Alex Caceres by sub a lot here, man. Styles make fights. I think his frame gives Giga Chikadze fritz. Give me Alex Caceres by rear naked choke. He strangles him. Co-main event of the evening. The rematch we didn't know we needed, but now I'm excited for it. It's Anthony Smith versus Ryan Spann. I've been picking Anthony Smith to do it again. First round submission about 2 years ago over Ryan Spann. Since that time, Ryan Spann beat Ian Cutelaba, beat Dominic Reyes, and lost to Nikita Krylov. And in the Krylov fight, Ryan Spann showed me he's still the same guy. Like, everybody seems to have thought he's totally turned the corner. He's a whole different fighter. Yeah, he hits fucking hard, but we've always known that with Ryan Spann. He's usually a first-round knockout or bust type fighter. And I think Anthony Smith, durable as hell, is going to be able to find decent shots on the feet, and he's going to probably submit Ryan Spann by a rear naked choke. Again, I think this fight looks quite similar to their first bout. We'll pull up the scales. Let's pull the scales up. Let's check these guys out. There is Superman Spann. There is Anthony Lionheart Smith. And then there is a face-off. Ryan Spann refusing to look at him. There's less beef in this one than I expected. I thought maybe it'd be a more intense face-off. Spann don't even want to make eye contact here. Anthony Smith has some wear and tear since their first fight, but it wasn't that long ago. Obviously, he fought Johnny Walker and lost a decision 6 weeks ago. And it wasn't a great performance. Like, Anthony Smith seems to have lost his mind. You're trying to hurt my family, he's saying to Johnny Walker, which, I don't know, that's PTSD or something kicking in from when he had that, home invasion. That was weird. But I think Anthony Smith can find himself here in a matchup that he's already won. He's already won this matchup. He's got to just follow suit. He outstruck Ryan Spann last time. I think he does it again. Spann gets wild with the hooks. Smith is better with the tight shots. Smith has the jiu-jitsu edge. Smith has the gas tank edge. Smith by submission. Smith by sub. He's an underdog. Plus 107. An underdog when you cleanly won the first fight in the first round doesn't make sense to me. Plus 107 Smith. Minus 127 Spann. Yeah, I think we're going under at minus 200. That's probably going to happen. Spann's a first round or bust type fighter, and I think Smith is going to finish him within the first 7 minutes of the fight. By submission. Smith by sub, plus 375. It's weird to see him as a dog. It's weird to see him as this wide of a submission line when you won the first fight clearly in the first round. So that's something that I've just found interesting all week. I'm going Anthony Smith to do it again. I know he hasn't looked great as of recent. He's got some losses, 2 in a row. Johnny Walker fight, he had kind of no output. He was gun shy as fuck. Ryan Spann, I don't think, goes out there and out-technically kickboxes him for 3 rounds. That's not his game. I'm going Smith by submission. First round. Following suit to their first fight. And let's jump to the main event. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We got Max Holloway versus the Korean zombie Chan Sung Jung. I love this matchup. I don't love maybe the chances for Zombie, though, because I'm picking Holloway with strong confidence. I think he's going to style on Korean Zombie for 5 rounds. Zombie's tough as nails. He got stopped by Volkanovski, but it was a standing KO. He's got notoriously good durability. I mean, you don't get the nickname Zombie for not being durable as fuck. I think that Korean Zombie goes out there, gives it his all in a final farewell potential fight, But I think Max Holloway is going to be way faster on the feet. His boxing is clearly better. He's way better with his straights. He's better with his technical shots on the feet. Zombie's chance to win, is it a looping overhand right? Is it a ducking uppercut? Is it a spinning back fist? Those are really all I see for Zombie. It's more of those, Hail Mary strikes to win. In a real tit for tat type fight where Max Holloway, he's going to be outgunned all night. He might get TKO late. Just a volume, accumulation of damage, stoppage for Max Holloway is possible. I'm going Max Holloway to win. I'm going Max Holloway to win it by a decision as my official call, but he might get a KO. It's just, I have a lot of respect for Zombie's durability, and I think he can give it one hell of a last ride, but Max Holloway still 50-45. Now, we'll pull up the scales and check them out. Let's look at these guys. These are the ceremonials. I actually have the official face-off for this one, or the official weigh-in for this one. So, you know what? Let me bring up those official picks right here. Let's bring these bad boys up. Let's get the official up. The only fight that I could find official picks for is this one. Let's pull it up. There is Zombie on the official scale. He actually looks quite similar to how he did on the ceremonial. Looks in shape, good, ready to rock, and give it hell for one last ride. Max Holloway looks in his prime, fucking incredible on the scale. It's Max Holloway. He's that dude. If Volkanovski doesn't exist, Max Holloway's got 7 or 8 title defenses, okay? Because Max Holloway is one of the best fighters in the UFC right now. He's a pound-for-pound fighter. It just happens to be that the baddest motherfucker on the planet, potentially, Alexander Volkanovski, pound for pound number 1, is in front of him. There is Max Holloway, looking great. There's a face-off. Obviously, heavy heart coming into this one with the fires in Hawaii. Max Holloway fighting for more than just himself, fighting for his people, and I think he's going to deliver for his people with an action-packed 5-round war, but a one-sided war. One of the Max Holloway wars where he's absolutely destroying his opponents, but they're still trying to come back because, Zombie's tough as they come. But it's all Holloway, all fight. Max Holloway for the win. He's a minus 800 favorite. It's disgustingly wide, but he's going to pull it off. Zombie's plus 550 as a dog. I think we're probably going over 2.5, which is minus 245. I have a good feeling about that. Holloway to win by decision is plus 150 to KO at minus 160. If Holloway's to get a KO, I'm thinking 3rd, 4th, or 5th. Holloway in the 3rd is plus 600. Holloway in the 4th is plus 625. And Holloway in the 5th is plus 725. Just some round props for you guys. Not really recommending you do that because that's high-risk territory. But I think Max Holloway, if he is to get a finish, it's past the 2nd round. It's 3rd, 4th, or 5th, probably 4th or 5th more than anything. I think he might go out there and just dominate for 5 rounds. Zombie's toughness will keep him in him. Even though he was getting crushed by everything Volkanovski had on the feet, it was a standing TKO for Zombie in that fight. So give me Max Holloway to win the main event. I think he's pulling it off in Singapore, and Max Holloway is still that dude. And who knows, maybe we got a 4th fight with Volkanovski at some point, because Max is literally beating off everybody else in the weight class. Holloway for the win over Korean Zombie in the main event of the evening. UFC Singapore is bringing the heat, but I'm not done just yet, okay? I got to talk about some parlays, some post-weigh-in parlays. I want to create some high confidence, and I want to create some, some safer lines. What if we go Max Holloway with Waldo? Both guys look good. Minus 150, better than minus 220 for just Waldo, because I think Holloway's got this. I think he's pulling it off. But I want to drop a little whisper of a play, right? You guys saw my confidence in the potential of Jarno Errens. I know officially I didn't technically pick him, but the betting side of Errens, if you're finding him at plus 150, what if you went Jarno Errens in one of your parlays? Why not? We throw him in. Because honestly, man, I was as close as I've gotten to pick flipping without pick. I hate pick flipping, but bet flipping, let's call it. Because I think the bet inside is all Jarno Errens. I really think it's a 50-50, and he's in the fight. So if you go Errens, Waldo, Holloway, now you're at plus 315. We start the night off with a dog. Now, popular underdog, Jarno Errens, a lot of people are on him. So, sometimes you want to fade the public, but I think it could definitely happen. Maybe he's in addition to some of your parlays. Junior Tafa on your lineup with Waldo and Max. Now you got plus 186. I think this is a potential heavy hitter. I like the chances of this bad boy right here. I'll throw in Rinya Nakamura plus 227. Anthony Smith plus 587 now. And then if you just said, fuck it, I'm throwing Errens in from the start of the night, plus 16-17 for this parlay. Something to look at, I think. With some underdogs mixed in with some high confidence favorites. If you're not feeling the Tafa side, you want to keep them out, you got plus 896. If you're like, yo, I don't even want Waldo on my slate, you still got plus 580 for this one, throwing some underdog love in it. Now, Alex Caceres is in a hell of a fight. I think he's more of a straight money line underdog because he's past that 2-1 mark. But if you went Caceres and Smith and Jarno Errens, the trifecta of underdogs, plus 1475 if we Mystic Mac call the fucking underdogs here, betting-wise. That could be interesting. It's interesting, right? Because we're adding in Errens, who technically I picked against. Like, I don't like flipping the pick, you know what I'm saying? But I'll be honest, all week I've been coin flipping. It's a 50-50. I'm like half officially pick flipping without doing it. You guys get what I'm saying when I broke down that first fight. Waldo, Cortes-Acosta, and Tafa, plus 153. Throw Aaron Blanchfield off, plus 326. Add Max Holloway. Now it's worth it for plus 383. And then you throw in Rinya Nakamura, plus 451. Nearly 5-1 there. Anthony Smith, now we got plus 1,000. That's a good tag. Let's put the young Bedoya on our slate. Let's go Bedoya, and let's put him in with Waldo. Minus 100. We got even money now. And then if you threw Lionheart on your lineup, plus 320. Take out Lionheart. Throw another confident call here with Justin Tafa, or excuse me, Junior Tafa. They got Justin Tafa here. It's throwing us off, man. Plus 245. Be cautious with your bets this card. It's going to be an early AM card, and weird shit happens in the mornings with the potential jet lag of the fighters and all. This is going to be really interesting. I'll be up early for it, man. The whole thing I'll be live for 5 a.m. Eastern time. It's going to be the earliest fight companion of all time. So make sure you guys tune into that. Smash the likes here if you enjoyed. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the picks in the comments below. Do you guys have any different leans post-weigh-in? Do you guys kind of get what I'm seeing for a potential Jarno Errens on the betting side? Because Seung Choi and him, I think, is a 50-50 fight. Overall, excited for the card. Much love to the people. Let me know what you thought in the comments. If you have nothing to say in the comments, please enjoy the content. As always, drop a W in the chat to boost the algorithm for your boy. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate everybody. See you in the early morning hours for UFC Singapore. Have a great one, guys. Peace.